Emotional intelligence. 9 skills for successful leadership. Have you ever had one of those moments where leading a team feels more like herding cats than inspiring growth? Or maybe you found yourself wondering why some leaders seem to effortlessly gain trust and cooperation while others struggle to keep the ship afloat. The key factor often comes down to emotional intelligence. For years, leadership was often defined by one thing: intelligence. The higher your IQ, the more likely you are to be seen as a leader. But times have changed, and so has the understanding of what truly makes a great leader. Today, we're diving into 9 important emotional intelligence skills that will enhance your leadership and inspire loyalty, creativity, and growth in those around you. But before we dive into these strategies, we need to answer who a successful leader is. What defines a successful leader? If you know a little about how leadership works, you will understand that a good leader isn't someone who only inspires trust and confidence through words, but a person who inspires by setting the right example. They don't only offer solutions, but they also attend to their people's challenges. To become a successful leader, people will look up to you for clarity, and it's your job to provide that sense of purpose, especially when situations are uncertain or overwhelming. But are you emotionally ready? Emotional intelligence is more than just a nice-to-have skill in leadership. It's a necessity. Trying to lead without it? That's like steering a ship without a compass. Sure, you might get where you're going, but it's likely on your terms alone. And let's be honest, real leadership isn't just about getting the job done, it's about bringing people along with you. So let's start with our first strategy. Before we proceed, don't forget to click the like button and also subscribe for more informative and educational content on personal development. Now, let's move on. 1. Prioritize self-awareness. First of all, do your emotions control you, or do you have control over them? This is a simple question many leaders fail to answer. Yes, because it's more than you're in tune with how you feel, whether it's anxiety, frustration, or even joy. The better you'll be at productively managing those feelings. When you know you're feeling tense or irritated, it's easier to step back, think things through, and communicate what you're going through in a way that doesn't hurt your relationships, but instead improves healthy conversations and outcomes. One simple way to boost your self-awareness is to track your emotions. Write down what you felt, what triggered that feeling, and how you responded. Over time, you'll start to notice patterns in your emotions. You'll not only understand what triggers certain reactions, but also how to manage them before they get out of control. 2. Start practicing active listening. People express themselves through their tone of voice, body language, and facial expressions, just as much as with words. This gives a clue that communication isn't just about the words people say, it's also about what they're not saying. Therefore, if you want to truly understand someone, you need to pay attention to both the verbal and nonverbal cues. When you take the time to listen, you're showing the other person that you value their perspective. This kind of respect is the bedrock of any healthy relationship, whether it's at work or in your personal life. To show you're actively engaged in the conversation, don't just nod along, ask questions. Clarify points if something isn't clear, or reflect what you've heard to show you're on the same page. The strategy of nodding or making eye contact with your communicator will not only help build trust, but also strengthen the connection you have with them. Don't forget, good leaders are good listeners. 3. Work on building your social skills. Sociable leaders carry more persuasive influence than others. This means, if you're in a leadership role, using the right management style is crucial. A democratic management style, for example, relies on collaboration and shared decision-making. For you to cultivate this approach, you must focus on creating an environment where everyone feels heard and valued. Think of social skills as the tools that allow you to put your emotional intelligence into action in the workplace. This means every team in your has its own unique set of interactions, attitudes, and behaviors. If you have high emotional intelligence, you'll be able to recognize these dynamics quickly and navigate them skillfully. 5. Learn about conflict resolution. Do you know that no workplace is free of conflict, right? But that's not necessarily a bad thing. When people with different ideas and experiences come together, conflict can often lead to new, creative solutions that benefit everyone. The goal is not just to resolve the issue, but to create an open, honest, and inclusive environment where everyone feels heard and valued. When you approach conflict with a high level of emotional intelligence, you create space for all team members to express themselves and feel supported through the process. Be aware of how you're feeling and make sure you're responding thoughtfully, not reactively. At the same time, pay close attention to what others are experiencing. That's social awareness. From there, communicate clearly and calmly, sticking to the facts without letting emotions drive the conversation. 5. Learn to welcome feedback. Let's be honest, most of us instinctively cringe at criticism, even when it's well-intentioned. It's natural to feel defensive or uncomfortable when someone points out where we might improve. But if you want to develop high emotional intelligence, one of the key skills is not just accepting feedback, but actively welcoming it. When you shift your mindset, you begin to see feedback for what it is, an opportunity for growth. Note this: the next time someone offers you feedback, pause and appreciate the effort they're making. Know that they're taking the time to help you improve, whether personally or professionally. That's not something to shy away from, but rather to embrace to become a successful leader. 6. Hone your empathy. Empathy is simply the ability to truly understand and connect with people's thoughts and emotions. Studies show that leaders who are perceived as empathetic by their team members tend to perform better in the eyes of their superiors. So, how can you start building empathy? First, you need to focus on truly understanding others' emotions and motivations. If someone makes a decision you wouldn't have chosen, take a moment to consider the values and beliefs that may have guided them. Another key aspect of empathy is practicing non-judgment. We all have that inner voice that jumps to conclusions, but true empathy requires us to push those thoughts aside. Instead of reacting based on initial assumptions, allow yourself to think more critically about the situation and the person involved. 7. Keep stress in check. Let's talk about keeping stress in check, especially in those heated moments when you're in a disagreement with your spouse, kids, boss, or coworkers. How many times have you found yourself saying or doing something in the heat of the moment that you later regretted? But here's the thing: if you can learn to quickly relieve stress and regain your calm, you'll not only save yourself, from those regrettable actions, but often calm the other person in the process. Great leaders learn how to communicate effectively under pressure. They don't rush into a response. When you respond, keep it simple. If you try to cover too many points at once, you risk losing the other person's attention. And remember, sometimes how you say something often matters as much as what you say. 8. Foster psychological safety. How do you feel when you create a space where people feel genuinely comfortable taking risks, speaking their minds, and even admitting when they've made mistakes, all without fear of judgment or backlash? It's a fact. When people know they won't be punished for being human, they're more likely to push boundaries, come up with innovative ideas, and grow from their experiences. And as an effective leader, your goal is to work hard to encourage open dialogue in every interaction. Make people feel like they can bring their whole selves to the table, sharing thoughts or concerns without worrying about how they will be perceived. At the end of the day, creating a culture where constructive feedback, the 5th strategy, is seen as an opportunity, not a threat. 9. Learn the power of motivation. Do you know that a less driven leader can't drive a team? Of course not. If you're not driven, you can't expect your team to be. To be effective in your leadership, you must try to bring passion and focus into everything you do, because energy is contagious. When people see you working with optimism and determination, it lifts everyone's morale and keeps the momentum going. For others, it's not just about hitting one big goal. It's about constantly striving to improve, setting new challenges, and never feeling like I've made it. There's always more to learn and achieve. Therefore, for you to stay motivated, focus on small, realistic goals that keep you and your team on track, and celebrate each step forward. While there's plenty of research on effective leadership, there's often little guidance on how to develop the skills needed to apply it. Understanding leadership theory alone isn't enough. Becoming an emotionally intelligent leader requires actively building self-awareness and developing key personal behaviors. Do you have questions you would like us to answer? We would love to hear your questions and address them in the comments section. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more informative videos. Also, remember to enable notifications to stay updated on our newest videos. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to share your most helpful leadership skills in the comments below. Until next time, take care and keep shining bright.